Hey everybody, welcome to my Suburban Oasis. My name is Soleil and I garden in a Zone 5B in mid-Michigan, and it has been really quite cool here. We've been in the 40s. Tonight we're going to get down into the 30s and I feel like I'm a little behind. Normally we often have a little bit of a warm up in October and it looks like it's coming. I think we're going to get like 75 degrees here for one day this week, but right now I am outside in a winter coat with a sweatshirt on and some long johns as well because it is freezing cold. Our high today was like 50 and it doesn't feel that warm. So I'm going to get some tasks done around the garden, and I think we're going to do some cleanup of some hostas. We're going to pull the basil out of the potager. We are going to use some leaf mulch in one of the garden beds as well. And I just want to show you before I get started these gloves because I love them. These are called Hydra Hide by Wells Lamont, and I love these gloves. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. They have a rubber coating on the outside of them that goes up to the knuckles, so they protect you from the wet and the cold. And then the inside of them is like a fleece lining, so it keeps your hands nice and cozy. So we are going to wear those while we do these chores today. All right, let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do today is we are going to utilize all of this wonderful leaf mulch that has been chopped up by my husband. We have a leaf mulching machine that is by Troy-Bilt, and if you're wondering what that looks like and how it works, feel free to check out my playlist. I've got lots of other videos in the playlist, and if you just search for leaf mulch, you will find a video on it and showing what that machine looks like and how it works. But this is wonderful organic matter that is just free in anybody's yard, and I get the opportunity to put this down in the beds to help improve the soil. It's really going to be nice to feed the soil and to help improve its fertility, the life that's in the soil, and that will just help to increase the vitality of my plants as well. So I want to get this out so that I can use this to help put some of my garden debris in as I pull it out of the garden beds. So let's get started with this, and we're going to take it over into this garden bed here. So this garden bed, you can see I have lots of open space, and because I've been pulling out plants, there is a little bit of bare soil. There's still some mulch on top, but not as much as I would like. So I'm going to fill in really primarily around this hydrangea right here and just make sure that I've got a nice good layer, about 2 to 3 inches of leaf matter on top of it. All right, well, that is the final mulch area. You can see I've got about 2 to 3 inches of leaf mulch on top there, just right around all of those plants, right near the root balls, but not burying the plants. I don't want to like cover up the crowns so that they rot out during the winter time. But I think that looks really nice and pretty, and they'll all be nice and cozy this winter. Next up, we are going to take some of the basil out of the potager garden, and then we will go over and get some of the hostas out of the ground that are looking, like they have had a frost. So let's get that taken care of. So just cleaning out the potager here, we have a basil over here, and then we have 3 more back here that all need to come out. Now, if I wanted to, I could just cut the tops off of these basils and leave the roots in place and hope that they kind of broke up and decayed over the winter. But I'm not sure that that will actually happen, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull the entire plant. Boy, do they smell good. Having fresh herbs is such a delight. And I actually can have some of the parsleys during the winter time. Even I can still come out here and get fresh parsley on occasion just by using this small little glass cover over small parsley plants. You can use row covers or anything else like that as well. So you can see in this garden bed, all of these hostas really are just dying right back down to the ground. So all I'm doing is just kind of wiggling and pulling at the tops to see what will come out, just to clean up the area because it looks a little untidy at this point. If they're yellow and they're not going to pull out easy, I'll just leave them. I like to ensure that things have a chance to kind of die back, so I don't have too much raw material for my compost bins because I have a lot of raw material, and so my compost bins get full really fast. So if nature can do some of the work while it's still in place and make it a smaller amount of material to haul, that is fantastic. And I just find this to be so much easier and more peaceful than cutting them back. Just kind of pulling on them when they're ready to go. So I wait for them to at least look like 90% of them can come out of the garden. Some people don't want to wait this long because they don't like the way that it looks. And either way is fine. There's a lot of different ways to work in the garden, and some of it just has to do with how much time you have, when you can do things, and what you prefer in terms of how your garden looks. Because these aren't all the way dyed back, I will have to come through and do a little bit later, but there won't be very much to do. So while that doesn't look perfect, it certainly looks a lot tidier than it did before we did it. And it only takes a few minutes. Let's see what we can pull from this area. Now I'm just giving these a wiggle and a tug, and they pull right away from the base. The roots are still in the garden, so they're going to continue to grow on and come back next year, no problem. This will be a very satisfying cleanup when we're done. The goal here is not to remove every single bit of small garden material, because anything that's left will probably break down over the winter. But just to make sure that you get as much of the large debris as possible. And really it's for aesthetics. And wow, doesn't that look so much tidier? So much cleaner. Well guys, I'm pretty happy with the garden cleanup that we got done today. It was just enough to make me feel like I'm starting to get a little bit further along in my journey, and I know that I'm going to be able to tackle some more chores as I move forward. Thank you so much for joining me today, and let me know, how is your fall cleanup going? Do you feel like you're right on track, ahead of schedule, or are you running behind like me? Well, I hope I see you next time. Bye!